You're right. Let's see. We should be live, and yes, indeed, we are. So,
Woo!
welcome everyone to February's Stitch and Bitch. I know what month it is. So, if you're new here, my name is Reija, and this is my channel, The Bookfinch, and welcome. And we are just gonna have the next couple of hours of just chilling, crafty chit-chatting about books and various other topics, like apparently the Olympics, maybe.
Yes.
So we're gonna do that. So we're gonna introduce ourselves and talk about our crafts at the same time. So I am still working on my crocheted rug project that I am crocheting out of old t-shirt scraps. So that is what I'm doing. So it has actually I have made a lot of progress since last we talked, because last time I had just barely begun it. And Di, you are up next.
Hi, my name's Diana. My channel, which is still kind of in hiatus, is Bookish Di, and I am still working on the baby blanket for my friend, but I am getting close to the end. I am trying to finish it in the next couple of days so I can wash and block it and then get it sent on the way with a selection of Sandra Boynton board books.
Very nice.
We love Sandra Boynton in our house.
I do too. I didn't get my personal favorite, which is not the hippopotamus, but I did get my friend some dinosaur books because dinosaurs are the nursery theme.
Oh, nice.
And I got the doggy book because she has a dog. So
my favorite is Woohoo, You're Doing Great, which is a chicken that just shouts Woohoo, You're Doing Great every time you try something.
I need a chicken who shouts "Woohoo! You're doing great" every time I do something.
We all need a chicken.
We all need
us up.
Yeah. But for folks who don't know, Sandra Boynton is a children's book writer and an artist, and she also does like calendars and other stuff. And like decades later, I still know like a dog and a frog went out for a jog, but not the hippopotamus.
I gave my friend who has a 1-year-old one of her books, and I need to figure out if they already have Woohoo, You're Doing Great, because I didn't know about this one. And if they don't have it, I must get it for them.
It's solid. And it like the little chickens like woohooing like somebody just trying to make a cake and somebody like trying to tap. But then he wakes up a bear by going like, woohoo, way to nap. And the bear's like, you woke me up, and he gets sad and decides
no.
But he gets hyped up again. It's all good.
We are a very serious book discussion group.
Indeed. Yes. I'm considering, I'm not even a 1-year-old, and I'm considering, should I get this book for myself just to cheer me up?
Absolutely. I have enjoyed reading books for toddlers in order to buy them for my friend's kids. So yes, you should.
I have low-key thought about getting the Woohoo chicken as a little tattoo to remind me that I'm also doing great.
This reminds me of my coworker put a sticker or like one of those Dymo tapes that you can write text on, and they put a sticker on my work laptop that says Reija is so smart and accomplished, and this has the same energy.
Yes.
Kelsey, I think you're next.
I am. I'm Kelsey. My channel is The Fancy Hat Lady Reads. I am on a bit of a hiatus right now, and also not on video because I had a surgery 2 days ago, so I am healing. I've been thinking about what I wanted to actually like share on the internet about this, and I'm going to just share that it was laparoscopic surgery for endometriosis, and so far I'm doing fine. That's the information.
Sunshine is taking very good care of her mom.
No, she's not. She has had privileges revoked for bad behavior. jumped
Did she?
on my 5-incision belly yesterday.
Oh no.
But we can confirm that Kelsey looks like a human and has not been terribly
Yeah,
messy.
I showed them all my face
Yes.
before we went live. Sunshine had further privileges revoked this morning because
No.
she could not wake me up, and therefore she knocked my entire glass of water over onto the bed, including a library book, which is now in the freezer.
Oh no.
Sweet girl, no.
So how many privileges will
Sunshine has
Sunshine?
had access to the human revoked for the duration of this live stream. I am shut in the bedroom and she's not allowed in. I'm so sorry.
So I have to ask, how many privileges does Sunshine have left? You've been revoking so all of her privileges. So
She has full access to my family member support person who is here to help me. She does not have full access to me right now.
so she has a spare human. That's
Right.
okay.
She's
That's
had
good.
her Kelsey privileges revoked, but she's got someone else here.
So Kelsey obviously will not be crafting. She will be focusing on surviving and healing, and that is
Stitching my
enough.
own body back together inside. Thank you very much.
Yes, that is also a crafting project.
Crafting project. I have tea. I'm nibbling on cheese. It's all helping.
The cheese is the important part.
Yes.
Mhm.
Bree, you're up next.
Cool. I'm Bree. My channel is Bree Reads Books, though I'm not particularly active there. I've been thinking about it actually again lately. And today I am working on a Melt the Ice hat because I live
Nice.
in the Twin Cities and ice can, pardon my language, get fucked. And my big thing that I want to make sure all of you know, other than that you have rights in the United States if you live here, is that you also have the right to nominate us for the Hugo Awards, and you should. You're eligible under Fancast, and
This is
it's all good.
I just have to.
And you should all go in and log in after this and vote for nominate us for the Hugos.
So we have been
Long-listed.
longlisted twice.
We were like the first one on the long list last year. Like we were just off the short list.
To be clear, we were off by like 1 point, and I about went and beat my partner up because he did not nominate last year, even though he had the right to nominate. It's his fault.
But in any case, we are once again eligible in the Fancast, like we are every year. We're very active since we do this every month, unless special things arise. So next up, I think we should talk about books.
Yes. Also, Rachel isn't here today. You may
Yes.
have noticed. She's fine.
She's under the weather.
Rachel is under the weather, so she will not be joining us today. So send her virtual love and a speedy recovery. And I guess we can start with what we're reading. So, Dai, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I have read stuff, although I have not read a lot in February because a book I read kind of put me in a slump. So since we last met, I read A Mastery of Monsters by Lascelles Sambury. This is a YA, although I think this for me is like kind of the epitome of YA that for me at least like edges into new adult, because this book is set in Canada. It's near-ish Toronto, and we are following this young woman, August, whose mother has disappeared, and then she's attacked by this monster, and her brother disappears. So she starts trying to figure out what's going on, and she finds out about this secret society and that monsters are real. The society like there's monsters and masters, so the monsters can like the masters have control. It's a little convoluted, but it's very much like kind of dark academia. It's also a trials book, and the trials for me were the weakest part of the book. But I thought it like does some pretty good commentary on like race in Canada, and very much kind of taking aim at the idea that, you know, someone might be Black or South Asian or East Asian, but, you know, there's no difference. They shouldn't take like cultural. It's very much like poking at that idea that is kind of prevalent in Canadian spaces about race. And I thought August was this really interesting character. I thought that she's someone who is basically recovering from disordered eating, and so that's like a big through line for her character, where she's like trying to have people, she's very anti people trying to take control of her or like limit her activities, because it kind of triggers her past disordered eating and how she kind of limited herself to appease her mom. And so I ended up giving it about 3.75 stars. I thought it was really interesting. It was a little too long, but it very much is like, August is 18, she's starting university, and so like technically YA given the age range, but I think that this is very much like an adult book. But I would say, like, because I was looking for stuff to potentially nominate for the Lodestar, so that's like kind of maybe on my list of potential Lodestar nominees. I read Murder by Memory by Olivia Waite. So this is a cozy sci-fi murder mystery novella, and in this world there's a generation ship, and people can have these bodies made for them, and they'll upload their memories in the ship's library, and if they get tired of like existing, they can like take a break in the library, and then like their memories can, when they're ready, be added to a 3D print, like a body that's like specified to them. And our main character, Dorothy Gentleman, wakes up in not her body, and her book has been deleted. And so she's trying to solve like what happened. It was fine. It was like a solid 3-star read. It's one where it was like, I feel it could have been longer because there's just so much stuff. And it also felt a little too twee for me at times. Like, Olivia Waite was doing a lot to try to like evoke this feeling of like Miss Marple.
That's interesting because the premise sounds more Memory of Empire.
Yeah.
But I guess I could see
also Memory Called Empire is very much hard to top, because Memory Called Empire already did Memory Called Empire really friggin' well.
Yeah. So it was fine. That was one I was like, I was at a silent book club, and I needed to read something because I finished my book. So I read that, and it was okay. I think it's going to be, if I keep reading the series, it's just going to be a library series. It's one where even though the covers are really pretty, I don't really want to own them.
Yeah. It be like that sometimes.
Yeah. The book that put me into a reading slump was finally finishing Wuthering Heights by by Emily Bronte.
Are we going to talk about Wuthering Heights? Because we should definitely talk about Wuthering Heights.
Let's not talk about it too. Okay, here's the thing.
Put a pin in it.
Let's put a pin in it, because I feel like next month we're gonna have to talk about it again, because my friends are planning a girls' night out to watch the movie adaptation.
Do we all need to go see it? So
I kind of like, at the same time, I don't want to give this any attention or money, but
I
at the
was
same
not
time,
planning on seeing the movie. If we're all gonna discuss it, though, I guess I could go see the movie. Just let me know.
I will stomach through the adaptation, if I know that I have.
I just had so little interest because I hated the book so much when I had to read it in high school.
Here's the thing. I actually like. I have a love-hate relationship with Wuthering Heights because I actually quite like nobody enjoys Wuthering Heights. If anyone tells you that they enjoy Wuthering Heights, I think they are lying and they need to examine themselves a little bit. This is
I had a very
sarcasm, by the
funny
way.
high school experience with Wuthering Heights. You may continue, but I want
But at the same time, like Wuthering Heights is one of those books that like has so much meat that you can just dissect it. Like it's like there's so much stuff to analyze there.
Yeah,
and
and I
that is one of the reasons why I like it.
And that's,
Even though everyone in it is a piece of shit.
Oh, they're awful. So it was one of those books where like I didn't enjoy reading it, but looking at it through a more analytical lens, it's so interesting, like what has carried through the cultural consciousness around the books, because everyone thinks about like that Kathy line, like whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same. But it's like when it's being said, it's basically like, but I can't marry him because I don't want to be poor.
Yeah.
And then you also have like everyone pretty much ignores the second half of the book, which I think is where a lot of the meat comes in, because it's very much about like the cycles of abuse, and Hareton and Catherine kind of pretty deliberately breaking that cycle. And then you also have Heathcliff, I think, is like this proto figure for like two different strains of romantic lead, where one part, and I think I talked about this last time, where like one part he's almost a prototype for the ambiguously brown man that you see in romanticities with you know, Zayden or Xbox, as we've been calling him in the group, in a different group chat.
He's the proto Rhysand, proto all of these dark, tall, and handsome like other.
Not too dark, exotic dark.
Exactly, like ambiguously brown in a way that is still palatable to white tastes. Like you know the like,
ethnically ambiguous.
Yes, I was not expecting. Rachel, I refuse to watch Wuthering Heights, the movie. I listened to you all talk about it though.
Have we all seen the meme of Karen from Mean Girls saying, "But if you're Heathcliff, why are you white?"
But it's so true. It's so true. Like, and
so there's that as him as like the prototype of that, but also like the dark, like the male lead in dark romances, where it's like, I'll burn the world down for everyone, but like I hate everyone but you, and I'll burn the world down just for you, and like I'm abusive, and it's like deconstructing that to a certain extent, except people with the dark romance like just take it straight.
Yes.
And it sounds like in Emerald Fennell's movie that she's also taking it straight with his treatment of Isabella. Yeah, and also Emerald Fennell's version is also very much ignoring the second part of the book. It's very much the first act.
She's been very explicit about, like, this is not Wuthering Heights. This is like her 14-year-old headcanon version of
Wuthering Heights. The quotation marks are doing some pretty freaking heavy lifting here.
Yeah. And then my only other take on this is that Anne Bronte is my favorite Bronte.
You've seen that Hark a Vagrant comic, right?
Yes.
For folks who don't know, Google Kate Beaton Bronte sisters. It's this iconic, for me at least, it's iconic strip where it's like Charlotte, Emily, and Anne, and Charlotte and Emily are just like swooning over like these dark, broody men, and Anne is like, he's terrible.
Yeah. I've seen that actually, yeah.
Before we move on, can I tell my very funny high school Wuthering Heights experience story?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So Wuthering Heights was not part of my high school's main curriculum. I took an elective, like literature and the arts class my senior year that was basically the most eccentric teacher in the humanities department, taking us to the opera and making us read all her favorite books and watch all her favorite movies.
So love that, actually.
Yes, it was It was great. None of us could understand why she liked Wuthering Heights so much. We were all like collectively, as a group, perplexed. And she was up there in front of class every day, like reenacting scenes like it was the greatest thing ever. And we were like, we hate this book.
I
Sorry.
would prefer that experience to my debate teacher, who I did love. I did, like her. She, unfortunately, for all of us, really liked Ayn Rand and would encourage students to enter
Oh
a
no.
fountainhead writing contest every year.
Oh no.
I mean, it is cash, so
Uh.
there's that. But
She also really loved wolves and wolf conservation and had a wolf dog.
See, one of these things is better than the other.
right,
Yeah.
but both of them together is giving me a picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's a very weird lady. Wrote me a great letter
I bet.
recommendation for college, but a very weird lady. So then the other stuff I finished is I've caught up with all of the dragon. Oh no, Leia, come here. Say hi to people. Leia is officially at 15.3 pounds and is officially classified as obese, which feels mean. She's just my chunky baby.
She has some cushion for the pushing.
I know. Okay, so I've caught up on all of Catherine Addison's Cemeteries of Omalo and the Orb of Kairado. That's like my reminding myself that I like reading. Yeah, so I really enjoyed them all. I think The Grief of Stones is probably my favorite of the Cemeteries of Omalo series. I just really like the arc in that story and Kalahar teaching the new witness for the dead, and I really like these books because they do have the central mystery, but you also get like a bit of slice of life with how that universe functions outside of the Emperor's court, and just kind of seeing like the more day-to-day how people live. So I think it's eligible for best series this year. So like that whole universe.
I'm curious if it has word count for that, because they're a little on the short side.
But it also includes the Goblin Emperor, because
that is true.
If you were nominating the Chronicles of Osreth, it would include the Goblin Emperor. If you were nominating Cemeteries of Omalo, which is what I want to do, because I always want to nominate the smaller sub-series if eligible. So like I want to know if Cemeteries of Omalo is eligible on its own, because that's what I would personally prefer to nominate. Anyways, I don't know, and I would love to know if someone knows.
Okay, so my gut is to say yes, it should be eligible on its own. However, if the larger like main series were to be nominated and were to get enough votes to be within striking distance, they'd probably collapse it into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it will be likely that if people are nominating it, they will be nominating the whole universe, because Goblin Emperor is the
Well,
Goblin Emperor is well loved.
Yeah. So
I always just feel grumpy about that if there's any chance that the author is going to ever start a new series in the same universe, that like that series hypothetically in future would never be eligible if the whole universe had already won. That's why I feel like if there's an eligible sub-series, I always want to nominate the eligible sub-series.
Yeah, that's an interesting wrinkle.
Because like we're going to be
provision under that.
Yeah, because it's like it's best series, not best world building or best universe.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. So, and then the other thing, so what I'm currently reading, so I am still reading Open Veins of Latin America. Although
I just got a copy in.
I am using my ILL privileges at work to get it. So I'm reading that. It's very good. I did pause it just to try and, because I need some audiobooks to finish this Baby Blanket, and that's not an audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
I did at Silent Book Club also start The Sentence by Louise Erdrich, which I'm like maybe a third of the way through, and I am enjoying it so far. This is my first Louise Erdrich, and I just really like her prose.
Oh, I've read the it's right over there. the one with the baby harvesting.
Is it the Roundhouse?
No, it's the Future Home of the Living God by Louise
Okay.
Erdrich.
Oh.
But I think she has written about baby harvesting in other books as well. It's a theme with like in terms of like her being indigenous and this kind of like children being taken from the mothers is culturally relevant.
To this day, even.
And then the other thing I'm currently reading, and I'm hoping maybe to finish it today. I checked out the audiobook, but I do have the physical copy. Master of Poisons by Andrea Hairston. This is a standalone African-inspired epic fantasy. I'm not super far into it, but this came out like 5 or 6 years ago, and I've just had it on my shelf, and I am trying to read down my physical TBR. So even though this is audio, it still counts. And it's very dense. Like, it just kind of throws you in to the deep end with the world and the world building, and doesn't take a lot of time to explain, and kind of trusts you to figure it out for yourself.
Mhm.
So I think, like, on Goodreads, it has a really low rating. It's like 3.33 or something. It's really low. And I think that might be part of it, is people might have picked it up expecting kind of a more, like, a less dense fantasy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And also, you know, the author's Black, so she's going to unfortunately get dinged for that. But yeah, I'm not super far in, but the premise right now is really interesting. It's like climate change fantasy.
Okay. Sure. Interesting.
Yeah, so it's there's like a poison desert kind of creeping into farmland, and it's like a crisis point, and our two main characters are Giola, who is an older man who like was the emperor's spy master, but then gets exiled, and then Awa, who is this young woman who's training to be a griot. So yeah, like I said, hopefully I can try and, if not finish it tonight while I'm knitting, make some progress with it.
Nice.
And that's it for me.
All right. I'm going to go next because I have very little to show for myself. I'm basically still reading Doppelganger by Naomi Klein. I am now yay much in, and it's pretty interesting. It's essentially talking about how the far right and the far right essentially co-opts topics that progressives and leftists kind of abandon, and then they co-opt those topics in order to entice people who would maybe otherwise be leaning progressive, to essentially hijack people to their to their side of the aisle. And it talks also about like these kinds of like radicalization pipelines, etc.
Yeah.
So been really interesting so far.
Yeah, you can definitely see that with like the Maha movement and
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
well, sorry, Leia. The crunchy to alt-right pipeline.
Yeah, pretty much. And also this kind of like cottagecore and all like these like basically homesteading that was very neutral and then basically now it's like a pipeline to the fundamentalist Christian.
Dude, did you see that Ballerina Farms had an E. coli outbreak, and they're like, oh, we're no longer doing raw milk because
oh no, who would have thought? Very sad. Anyway, pretty much like here's the thing. I don't wish anyone ill. I don't want anyone to like what's the word?
Sick?
I don't want people to get hurt or sick. However, this is a prime example of fuck around and find out.
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on Ballerina Farms.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, as somebody who has long standing been doing a lot of like the food preservation at home, like gardening type stuff, right? Like keeping the bees holistically and things
Yeah.
like that. Like I have a lot of thoughts on the crunchy to alt-right pipeline.
Yeah, I think we all have. It's like I at one point I was like I had a hyper fixation of like watching all of these video essays and like getting really into that topic, like the crunchy mom thing, because I was like, I'm trying to understand what is this. But yeah, I'm like basically the theme of my reading so far is that all of these books are very dense, very depressing, and mostly nonfiction. So I'm also reading Moon of the Turning Leaves by Wobkeshik Rice, halfway through now. So I should finish this in maybe a week or so if I get my ass together and actually continue it. This is the least depressing book I'm reading so far.
Yeah,
and it is a post-apocalyptic survival story, but least depressing.
Yeah, the first one is so good.
Yeah, the first one is so good. This is a completely different beast. I would not even necessarily want to compare them because like both narratively and writing style and like how it deals with
thematically
and because like
you can tell it's like a 10-year later kind of book.
Yeah, and also that
10 years later, like the author wrote it 10 years later.
Yeah.
10 years later.
But also something like 10 years in text as well.
Yes.
Both the meta and the in text are like a decade apart. And the thing is that in Moon of Across the Snow, basically, it's very insular, very tight knit, isolated. It's a very isolated and claustrophobic story, and this one is more expansive and out there. Like there's still some of that isolationism, but it's like a different kind.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, and then this like this is a lot. So I'm reading also The Capital Order, How Economists Invented Austerity and Paved the Way to Fascism by Clara E. Mattei. This is essentially economics history. I'm not that far in. I've just started, so I've maybe like 2 chapters in, but I thought I'd mention it since I will be probably trying to slog myself through this. But it's looking at 2 cases after World War I. It's looking at Great Britain and Italy, which both had essentially socialization of industry during World War I, because they tried, especially in Britain, they tried giving laissez-faire capitalism a chance and using privatized industry in order to help with the war effort, and that caused things to go sour, prices to increase, and not getting enough war supply. So what they did then was essentially socialize every industry needed in the war effort, which then made it so that workers were actually getting better wages, etc., etc., and also unionizing and realizing that society could be organized differently than by straight up capitalism. And then the answer after that was basically to pave the way for austerity politics to reset the socialized industries and force them back into the capitalist mold. So it's looking at the those 2, like Italy and Great Britain, and looking at how they implemented austerity policies after World War I and how they basically then shaped the political landscape that, in the case of Italy, brought out Mussolini and such. So very dense historical economic stuff.
I just added that to my TBR because that sounds fascinating.
Yeah, it's very fascinating, and it's actually really readable. Also there's like 200 pages of just sources and notes on the sources. So this is like very like I've just been checking the sources as well, so that's why it's also taking me a long time.
I love it when that happens.
Yeah, exactly. And then moving on to graphic work, which is also not that depressing. This is actually quite wholesome. I read Jordi Lefebvre's Always Never. Always Never. So this is a very interestingly told story because it tells the story of these two people who have a fling when they are young, and then they kind of become romantically and sexually involved, but it does not work out. And then in the course of their lives, they end up kind of meeting up in various stages, and then it never really they always have this tension between them, this kind of will they or won't they, and then it never kind of works until they are like old. So she ends up getting married to a different man and having like kids and stuff. And he's basically this forever bachelor who took like 20 years to write his doctorate dissertation or something. But the thing that's really interesting about this is that it starts from the end. So the first chapter is chapter 20. That's the first chapter. And you read this story from the end, like from when they meet each other as old persons. And then you follow them basically anti-chronologically to how they got to that point. And then when you get to the end, you start from chapter 1 and you read it backwards. So you basically get to read it as a rewind. So it starts from here. This is the first panel, and you kind of read it like literally in a rewind. And it's really cool. So this one was really interesting, like the way it uses art to like tell this story, and it's like very visually appealing as well. Like there's like all these characters are like really expressive. And you can recognize most of the characters just from like the silhouette and stuff. Like really cool. I will say that if you are averse to topics of cheating, just know that there is cheating involved in this. So like if that's something that yucks your yum immediately, just bear that in mind. And then the final thing that I have been reading is that the pizza delivery man in the Golden Palace had more chapters released, and Soan and Woowon are finally making progress in their relationship. And because they basically they basically broke up in a bit, like because Woowon was basically saying that he's a burden to Soan, and like he needs some time for himself. And I was like, oh no. And they've been pining, and there's been like so many chapters of pining and yearning and just like general angst about the state of the relationship. And now they finally got back together and had this it was actually a really beautiful moment in the story where Soan basically tells Woowon that like we are supposed to we're supposed to talk to each other and help each other out, and like I don't care if you're a burden to me. Like that's my job, is to like take care of you, and you're supposed to take care of me. Like we're supposed to lean on each other. And I was just like, my heart.
Aww.
This never happens in BL. So yeah, it still continues to be like top tier, like BL where there's actually like healthy communication between these characters. And even though they do some shitty things and sometimes there's like dubious consent, they actually always refer back to that. Yeah, remember that time when we kind of like crossed each other's boundaries? Maybe we should not do that again. And it's actually like they challenge each other. Like the text, like in text, the characters are challenging each other's past shitty behaviors. And I'm like, I wish there was more of this. But yeah, that's basically all from me in terms of reading. Kelsey, do you have anything to add?
When we spoke last month, I had just started The Bewitching by Silvia Moreno Garcia. It is the only book I have finished since we spoke last. I really enjoyed it. It was slow to read because of how it switches between the 3 different narratives. It feels like it's a very slow build. But I didn't mind that. It just like took me a while to fully get invested in all 3 plot lines. It is horror. I would say that of all of the books of hers I've read, it is the most similar to Mexican Gothic. And I know that Mexican Gothic is kind of her most popular book. So if you loved that, you should read this one. It has like the New England academia vibes in one of the 3 plot lines, or 2 of the 3 plot lines that take place at different times. It's all historical because the most recent plot line, the one that feels like the present day plot line that the others are sort of flashbacks from, is set in the 90s. And I really enjoy when she does historical work. You get the 90s, you get like the...
Didn't she do like 80s in Signal to Noise, for example?
Yes.
Yes.
I haven't read Signal to Noise. I have it. I've had it for a long time. I still need to read that one. But then the
Silver Nitrate was also 90s.
Storyline is the 90s protagonist's great grandmother back in Mexico in 1903 as a young woman. And then we have the protagonist in the present is researching the life and work of this lesser known horror author who went to the same university, the same school, and then she finds like a manuscript of the narration of what happened to that author when she was at that same school in like I want to say it was like, I'm forgetting what decade that plotline takes place in. So you get these 3 time periods, and all of them start with a mysterious disappearance. And the tension builds sort of at the same pace in all 3 until we finally figure out what the spooky spook thing is. And I enjoyed that. It was slow, but I enjoyed that it was slow. And the vibes I thought were really good. I feel like she does really good vibes with her book.
Basically every time.
You always feel a lot of atmosphere, and you know, she's got 2 settings in this one, the Mexico setting and the New England setting, and you feel that she's put a lot of care into both.
Yeah, I think that was also like when she wrote, was it, oh my god, which was the one with the debutantes, Beautiful Things or no?
Beautiful ones.
Yeah, the Beautiful Ones. Like there you also see kind of like the care in how she approaches the different settings. Like I just feel like Silvia Moreno Garcia is like, she approaches a lot of her kind of world building as set building as character building.
I would love to see her do another Fantasy of Manners, but I don't know if she ever will.
I will say she does have a tendency, this is just something I've noticed, you can tell when she's like nerding out about something she genuinely likes, right? Like in this one, one of the characters' last names is Tremblay, which if you are a big horror fan, Paul Tremblay is a horror writer. Yes. So things like that where like you know.
Or like in
you named
Noise kind of
in this book after your friends, didn't you?
Or like not Signal to Noise, but in Silver Nitrate, where she's talking a lot about the Mexican film industry and the horror movie. there.
Mhm.
I actually really like books in general where authors get to like nerd out about things they care about. Like
Mhm.
I love being able to see authors' passions and interests. Like
Yeah, I know. Like for example, Sarah Monet's obsession with linguistics and
Yes.
coming up with like she comes up with a different calendar system in each one of her books. I remember when I read Doctrine of Labyrinths and the septage system was just kicking my ass because back then I did not understand, like, so I was like 17, 18 when I read the first books. And my English was okay, but I had not used it that much. So I went in the deep end trying to
because
figure out, like, well, how is this septat thing working?
there are two different calendars that are being
Yeah.
used in this city, one by the upper class and one by the lower class, and
Yes.
they keep translating to each other to figure out how old people are.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, I do have the fourth book in that series out from the library on my Kindle. I've not yet read it. I am not really reading anything. The library book that Sunshine spilled all my water on this morning was
Do you want
Imposition of Unnecessary Obstacles by Malka Older.
do you want like, do you want to go in without knowing anything, or do you want a content warning for the fourth book? Not spoiling anything, but like there is some heavy material that you might want to have a heads up on in that book.
If it is related to like surgical procedures.
No, not
So
surgical
you're not saying
procedures.
I need the content warning specifically because of where I am in my life right now.
Okay.
Because like I would want a content warning right now for anything to do with like cutting you open and taking out organs.
I will say that there is some torture.
Well, there was torture in the first book too. More in the fourth
But
book?
in terms of like cutting people open torture, like there is some, if I remember correctly, there is some like interrogation scenes in the fourth book, but
thank you.
Other than that, it is like more of the same in
more
terms
of the
content.
same. I can do more of the same.
All right. Kelsey, is that all?
That is
you have
all. Sorry.
In that case, Bree, you're up next, finishing strong with our what have we been reading?
So I just finished, it's called Speculative Whiteness. It is a book about science fiction and the way it's been used by the alt-right. It's by a guy named Jordan S. Carroll, and it was really, really good. It's about 180 pages.
Write that down. Speculative Whiteness, you say?
Speculative Whiteness by Jordan Carroll.
That won Best Related Work this past Hugo's.
It's incredibly good. I hadn't read it yet and finally was able to sit down. It's been on my shelf for a while and was finally able to sit down and read it, and I really enjoyed it. It had a lot of things that I think were insightful to say about just the nature of the way we conceive of speculative fiction and how that has lent itself to white supremacy overall.
There is also something to say about like for example, the alt-right using fantasy and like basically co-opting otherwise neutral works. Like, for example, Lord of the Rings is very popular among white supremacists.
Yeah.
Even though the content in Lord of the Rings doesn't necessarily lean itself into that, but it's just something that because it's very in terms like ambiguous and leans more into like this like myth making and basically Tolkien nerding out like for like several hundreds of pages, like 1,200 pages about like English myths and like So it's very easy to co-opt
Yeah.
for political purposes.
Yeah, so I just finished that. I just finished not What Lies Beneath, the next one. The next T Kingfisher. What was it?
Is it the What Stalks the Deep?
Yes, What Stalks the Deep, which is Appalachian mine vibes. And I enjoyed it quite a bit. And we finished a reread of The Hobbit with our little guy for bedtime, and then showed him the 70s cartoon, which was a lot of fun.
That's so sweet. I love that.
I think we maybe got more out of doing that for him than he got out of us doing it for him, but that's okay. That's kind of the point. And so now I am picking up.
Oh, this is good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So you can
it's
read
open
it online
access.
for free. Very nice.
Yeah. And worth the read. Well worth the read. I have Hemlock and Silver. This is just the dust cover because it's hanging out in the kiddos' room. And I'm going to be reading. Oh, well, I have a different serious book, but I also got recommended House of Rain by Harley LaRue from the Romance Novel Bookstore. I will say I don't think this is very good. I'm about 100 pages in, and I'm like, oh no, this is not good.
Is this similar? Are you having a similar experience to when you were reading the Sarah J. Maas books with your friend?
Yes. And actually, my partner and I are both reading this, and we're just like,
I'm so sorry.
It's actually kind of fun to read a bad book with somebody who you can like talk to about it, but I feel bad because the like romance novel store ladies were really excited. They were like, "You love spooky things. This is so good." And I'm reading. I'm like, "This is not good at all."
I mean, it's the same as when you watch a bad movie with someone. The fun is like ranting about the badness, which is like if you guys are gonna see Wuthering Heights, that will spur me on. I will survive watching that movie.
Yeah,
I know that there's people I can rant to.
Like some of my core experiences was like the summer after we all finished our first year of college, we were just chilling at my friend's house and just like renting the worst looking movies we could find at the video store and watching them. Like we watched The Core and my science, like all respect to John Rogers, that movie's so like it's fun bad. It's bad, but it's fun bad.
That was me, like you know how I like The Mummy, like every one of us probably likes the original Mummy. The second Mummy, it's fine. It still has the first Mummy vibes.
Yeah.
But the third one, oh my lord. It's so bad.
The third
it's
one,
absolutely vile.
The third one came out when I was working at the movie theater, and so I would that was one of the movies where like I would just see bits and pieces of it when I would be doing my theater check, and it just looked so bad.
That movie single-handedly tanked the entire franchise.
It
like
was
people blame the Scorpion King. No. It was the third Mummy movie who tanked the entire franchise and almost probably Jet Li's career.
I always forget about the third one existing. Because yikes.
Yeah, because it was so bad. People want to erase it from their memories.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I also, backtracking just a second, finished Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, which was a lovely little like interlude. Very cozy. Librarian goes to an island where she has to protect her spell books, and of course falls in love with the guy next door. And
as one does.
Yeah. All good things. She makes a lot of raspberry jam.
Oh my god, I can't remember if I shared this in the chat, but apparently this was on Reddit, and it was like under Hobby Drama or something, where someone was like, the way that the raspberry jam is made in the Spell Shop is unsafe. Like they don't do enough to prevent. And it turned out that it was like this difference between how like canning and jam making is taught in the U.S., where it's like the Ball's cookbook, and it's like there's very like
the FDA does not approve of wax sealing your jars, but it is acceptable in other places as long as you have like a half inch of wax. It has to be pretty chunky thick.
I would also say that please don't take canning advice from a fantasy book.
My general advice would be don't take canning advice actually from anything other than the FDA, or at least if you're going to do it with an incredible amount of knowledge that you might be screwing yourself over.
Yeah, if you're in the United States, check and see if your local land-grant university has extension offices, because they probably will do canning workshops, and those are to the FDA standards.
Yeah. There's a lot of folks, anybody who calls themselves a rebel canner, please be incredibly cautious. They are not following USDA safe guidelines, and
I'm not actually sure how you get into canning in Finland. Like, everyone just seems to be taught by their moms and grandmas. But I'm sure there are workshops somewhere. I just never come across any of them.
To my knowledge, a lot of canning, and especially pressure canning, so for anything for a low acidity food, is actually hard to do outside of the United States, because just the prevalence of pressure canners is fewer and farther between. But I have a lot of thoughts on canning. I don't think I've ever put out a picture of my pantry, but
I mean, clearly other people have as well, since there's a whole Reddit thread about talking about it in the context of this book.
Yes.
We
aim to please.
Yes.
Like,
we are an eclectic group.
You will be hearing about the most niche topics. In the last 7 years, we've done a lot.
A lot of niche.
Yeah. Whatever anyone's special interest at the time is.
They tend to circle back through.
Anything else you've been reading, Brie?
I have this book that I'm listening to on audiobook. It's called Market Forces, where it's about like this. It's this guy who's like a corporate something, but like in a world where the corporate honchos like shoot each other in duels and like race each other in like deadly car races. And if you aren't willing to like kill, like, how are you going to be successful? And his father-in-law's a communist. It's okay. It hates women. The book hates women. And I have a lot of thoughts on that, but I might have to sit on those and do a review or something.
I mean, I would look forward to that. If you are going to like even hint at restarting your channel, I will be there like a hawk. I guess we could move on to media. Do we just want to rip the Band-Aid off and talk about the Olympics? I mean, I don't have anything to add to the Olympics discussion.
I'm going to point out that everyone here right now is missing the Paris Short program live, and I'm mad about it.
Not only are we missing the Paris Short program, but we've been missing some of the curling, and it's okay. I'm not mad about it, except for that I a little bit am.
Sorry.
It's okay.
We're sorry that we're keeping you away from the Olympics to be here.
We're flattered that you're here instead of the Olympics.
We're flattered that you're here instead of the Olympics.
I mean,
I am trying to remember not to log into Blue Sky to see the updates on the skating because, I don't want to be spoiled. There was a curling incident. I was only watching the skating. What is the curling incident?
Oh, okay. So here's the newest curling gossip. Okay.
There's curling gossip?
Yes, there's
is. Drama in curling of all sports.
There is, even though you wouldn't think so, because here's what I also found out about curling. not drama. In the mixed in the mixed doubles, which is a man and a woman, but just two people on the team, 3 of the 5 folks were married pairs. One of them was a sibling pair, and one of them was the American pair, which is Corey and Corey from Duluth. Incredibly
Oh my
wholesome.
god, don't make me laugh. I can't laugh. It hurts too
It's
much.
incredibly wholesome. But no, okay, I can tell you about the Canada thing. Okay, so Canada's playing Sweden, right? And Sweden's obviously like a pretty good team. Maybe not obviously, but Sweden's a very good team. They're defending.
Okay.
Okay, they're defending. And they tried to say that the head of the Canadian team, that the men's team, had touched the rock while it was moving, which is a big no-no. And then they like got up in his face, and then his last name is Kennedy. He's like this very classically Canadian looking 50-something-year-old man, right? And he like looks
In the
at them.
team?
Huh?
In the team? Like,
Yes.
like, okay.
He's what's called, I think he's what's called the skip, which is, that's the person who calls the shots.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, so then he tells them to fuck off, but they're mic'd. It's like one of the few sports where people are mic'd. So he like gets hot mic'd on telling them to fuck off. And then it turns out, of course, that they hadn't cheated because they're Canadian. And anyway, so Sweden had to apologize, and he was like, I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. I guess I shouldn't have sworn. And so that's the drama.
Here, okay, Brie. Curling drama is not as spicy as the ice dancing drama that Kelsey has been regaling us over the last few months.
Here's the thing.
Start.
I talk about some non-Olympic stuff that I've been watching first, because I have been watching
Yeah.
some non.
Okay, but hold on while I finish my
Oh
analogy.
yeah, sorry.
Because I feel like the ice skating stuff is the romantasy version of the Olympics. And then curling is whatever the vampire knitting club books are of the Olympics.
You can't make me laugh this hard. My insides have been all ripped up. Oh
I'm sorry, I love you so much. Stop.
no.
Hold the pillow. Hold the pillow. But also, am I wrong? No.
Well, that does put a certain image in my head. Yes.
Yes. Okay, the drama in curling is how much wax can you safely have on your raspberry jam to preserve it. Okay, that is the equivalent.
Nice. Dai, go ahead.
Yeah, so the two things I've been watching The Pit. Season 2 has been going on. I've been really enjoying it. The new episode made me cry because something very emotional happened, but it was also this really nice spotlight on the nurses, because we haven't gotten a lot on them in the last season and a half, so it was really nice to get some more time with the nurses. Nurse Donnie is the MVP, and there's this really funny part where, because it's set on 4th of July, and as a thank you for working the holiday weekend, the hospital admin sends down donuts, and Nurse Dana, who's the charge nurse, so she's in charge of all the nurses, calls them blood pastries. And then she sees Donnie eating, and she's like, "It too, Donnie?" Just so offended.
Amazing. Amazing.
Time.
Yeah, well, and then I started rewatching Elementary because I was reminded how much I love a network procedural, and I needed something to watch while knitting, and Elementary is so good. I forgot how good it is. It's just good as a Holmes adaptation, but it's also good as a network procedural, and I really love how they did the Holmes and Watson dynamic, and how they made sure to have moments where you can see Watson's brilliance and how she will pick up on something that Holmes misses based on her prior experience as a surgeon and someone who's around hospitals.
Here's the thing. Elementary is the superior 2000s adaptation of Sherlock Holmes in terms of like how it handles the different theming. Like BBC Sherlock starring Benedict Cumberbatch. Like the I swear Moffat must hate
Women?
sure well that's obvious, like, but like specifically the source material, because in every single instance he's like, here's this classic story and here's how I would write it better, and then it's like, but it's like the worst version always.
It's interesting because I was looking back through some of my old Elementary posts on Tumblr, and someone pointed out that Elementary is a modernization of the stories itself, where you can tell, that the Elementary writers like revisited the original stories and were thinking about
How
do
would
we
they
modernize
work
them, how do we adapt them. Whereas if you watch behind the scenes with Moffat and Gatiss for Sherlock, they're more talking about like the different movie adaptations.
Yeah.
So Elementary is more of like a modern update, and Sherlock is more of like fan fiction of an adaptation.
Yeah. I'm going to unrelated share my screen for a second, if that's okay with everyone.
All right, is this
Yes.
curling drama? Is this curling drama?
No,
Go ahead.
but
Is
it
this the
is.
dinosaur? Is this the dinosaur?
It is the dinosaur.
Yes.
I just need everybody to be able to see the this from the Science Museum of Minnesota. So pardon if you see infinite screens for just a hot second, but
It's so cool, guys. It's so cool.
tell me when you can see the dino.
Just a moment, I'll add it to the stage. There is the
It's curling.
Yes, this is a special setup for the Olympics at the Science Museum of Minnesota, and that is a giant curling rock.
I
And
love it so
yes.
much.
okay, I just needed to share.
yes.
He looks so happy to be curling.
He is. How could anyone not be happy to be curling and also be a dinosaur?
Right.
I mean, to be fair, dinosaurs are great. I was just thinking today, like that because like when we went to the Field Museum in Chicago, like there's a lot of dinosaurs,
Mm-hmm.
which are the best. But like the US is like everywhere there's dinosaurs.
There's
Yeah.
a ton. There's a ton of dinosaurs, and also it's probably because there's some like really good fields in like Montana, North Dakota, like the Rocky Mountain area, as well as like New Mexico. Canada actually has a ton of dinosaurs in Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and South America also has.
That's
Well,
the
like-
one thing I regret not doing when I was in Argentina, was going to their Natural History Museum, because I want to see the dinosaurs.
When for those of us who wind up going to LA Worldcon, we should hit up the La Brea tar pits.
We should do La Brea tar pits, but also go to LACMA, because you can like walk around the tar pits for free.
Yes.
But also I love LACMA, and it's also near the Academy of Motion Picture Museum, which is also fantastic.
Yes.
I expect lots of pictures from the LA adventures. I unfortunately will not be
I'm still up
attending
in-
due to the state of the dumpster fire that is World
Yep.
Affairs.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence if I'm going to LA Worldcon or not. It's mostly that because my dad lives in LA, I can just kind of go whenever I want. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
Which is fair.
I mean, it's nice to have an easy access Worldcon once in a while, you know.
yeah.
Yeah. My grandparents and most of my family is in Anaheim, so it's really easy
Oh,
for us.
that's nice.
But also I'm on the hook for going because I'm guest of honor liaison area head.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I could share one thing before I let Kelsey loose about all of the Olympics
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm just waiting for you all to do
Yes.
finish whatever all else you want to say. I'm waiting for my cue.
So it's related to skating. So I have been watching Heated Rivalry, as has the whole world. I got suckered in. I was resisting, and then I got suckered in, and I can confirm it is actually quite great. I have no interest in ice hockey whatsoever, but I will endure the topic of hockey for Ilya and Hollander. And that's all from me. Kelsey, go ahead. What's cooking in Olympics?
Okay, we have had 3 of the Olympic figure skating events concluded so far. We had the team event, we had the ice dance, and now we have the men. The team event, I feel like, had some really, really great skating in it from a lot of people, so it was really worth watching. The results were not surprising. It was always going to be USA versus Japan for gold and silver, and then a bunch of other countries battling it out for bronze. Lots of great skates from people who had their Olympic moment in the team event, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to talk about the ice dance, or do we want to talk about the men?
Let's do ice dance first. Let's do it in the order of presentation.
Okay, so the ice dance.
Leia. Sorry, Leia's trying to eat my yarn.
Mind you, I have been saying all season Fournier, Baudry, and Cizeron could win the Olympics despite being awful. I mean, they're great skaters because they are the best skaters in the field. They are good at ice dance. Were they the best on that night? Is a serious question. So I am relying on other people. Okay, first of all, I want to go to the skating accountability page and make sure we have it in the link. Can we, I'm going to put this in the group private chat, and then Rhea, can you put this? This is a site that is put together by skating fans to sort of put together the chronology of events of why both Laurence Fournier-Baudry and Guillaume Cizeron are independently and together controversial figures in the ice dance world right now that has nothing to do with how good they are at skating. So we don't like them.
Okay.
I didn't think that was going to be the thing. And I know I've talked about them before on the live stream, but I don't know if people who are here now were watching then. I don't know if I should rehash some of it or just let the link sit there in the.
The link sits in the chat.
The link sits in the chat, and I'm going to move on. Ice dance scoring is so difficult to understand for anyone who is not an ice dancer. And like, I'm not even a skater. I have never taken a skating lesson in my life. I have tootled around a rink and hoped not to fall on my face. So I don't have the expertise to look at step sequences and tell if the turns were clean and tell what levels they should be. I don't have the experience to tell, what the levels or the grade of execution should be on any of these elements. So just going on what I've seen online from people who know more than me, there is some controversy over, I think, not necessarily the levels, but on the grades of execution on some of their elements.
Bobbled his twizzle. Like, I could see that with my naked eye, and I'm not an ice dance person.
His
Twizzle was messy, and that should have impacted the grade of execution, if not the levels. I think it did maybe lose him a level. Did he get a level 3 on that Twizzle?
I can't remember. I'd have to double check the scoring.
I don't remember either.
The name of the moves is a Twizzle.
Yeah,
Yes.
but also screwing it up as a bobble. Bobbled his Twizzle. That's what does.
I just called it. I thought, yeah, it might
I
be
mean-
that. It might be.
No, I'm choosing to believe that it's called
Bubbled his Twizzle. Okay.
It is what commentators say a lot. I don't think that's the technical term. I think
But it's funny.
No,
But
I
it is
refuse to
a lot of
believe it is not the technical term.
right, because that is totally what it looks like. It looks like a bobble on your Twizzle when you mess up. The
I know
Twizzles
nothing of sports. I'm just here to listen.
The Twizzle sequences are where a Twizzle in figure skating, not just in ice dance, is a type of turn where you're spinning on one foot and you have to stay on one edge. You can't lose the edge while spinning
Okay. I get. I see now what you mean.
and moving across the ice. So it's kind of hard to begin with. And in ice dance, they have to do Twizzle sequences where they're doing 2 to 3 Twizzles with like connecting steps. And they have to be in sync and close together. And they have features to get levels, like what they're doing with their like free leg and their arms and stuff can get them levels. So he had a mistake on that Twizzle that was visible in real time. There was also a lift that real time. I thought I was imagining things when I thought he almost lost his footing and it looked really scary. It was like their last rotational lift. And I thought I had been losing my mind because I think I was watching a commentary stream and no one mentioned it. And they clearly didn't lose any points for it. And then I went online and other people had seen it too. So I was not losing my mind. And then maybe there was something else people were nitpicking on a third element, one of the step sequences or something. Anyways, the point is that I want to make is that this type of preferential judging happens in ice dance all the time at every single competition almost. There is something you can pick apart at the scoring that doesn't seem right. Ice dance is the most corrupt figure skating discipline. It's the most subjective. And this is par for the course for ice dance, unfortunately. And so it doesn't surprise me to see scoring like this. In an ice dance event, it is higher profile when it's at the Olympics. Chalk and Bates, who lost this medal, arguably because of this scoring, have themselves been the beneficiaries of favorable scoring like this plenty of times over the past 3 years. They won a world championships a couple years ago that they almost certainly shouldn't have won because she fell and it wasn't on an element, but they should have been docked more in the program components for it than they were according to the rules. And, you know, they arguably should not have won that world gold medal. And it happens all the time in ice dance. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's especially frustrating because Fournier, Baudry, and Cizeron are so controversial off the ice. The happy thing was Gillis and Poirier with their bronze medal doing so well after struggling this season and worrying that they weren't going to be able to make the podium. And they deserve it. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I was really happy with those two and their performance.
Ice dance is both my favorite and my least favorite figure skating discipline in different ways. It is my favorite to watch. It is my least favorite to follow as a competition. Because the scoring is so insane. Every season they change the rules some, and it always seems to get worse. Like they keep trying to fix it and they keep making it worse.
Do you know the only thing recently that I've known about the Olympics, and the only reason I know it is because it's all over social media. So I know it only like everything I know of the Olympics right now is against my will. So the no, it's fine. It's actually it's interesting to hear your friends talk about it. But in terms of like there was that one, was it Norwegian guy who admitted to cheating on his girlfriend on live television?
Yeah.
Like I think it was like biathlon or cross country.
Yeah.
And then
And I'm like, why? Why would you bring that up?
Oh, but not only that. So there was, I think this was women's cross country, or it was a women's ski event. The woman who won from France had been recently arrested for credit card fraud because she used her teammate's credit card, and the French Federation like changed when her suspension was going to be so she would be able to compete in the Olympics.
What? What? Why is the world like this? Like everything, like the other thing I heard about the Olympics that was in the that made like, is there nothing better happening in the world that this
Is it
made the
about
headlines?
condoms?
Yeah, the condoms that they had.
They
stopped.
always want to talk about the condoms.
They like, we get it.
The Olympians are
The Olympians fuck. We get it. We've been known.
See, I just like the Olympics are my problematic fave. Like, yes, I know they're terrible. Yes, I know the IOC is corrupt. Yes, I know individual federations have so many fuck ups, but I love the Olympics.
Yeah.
So we talk about the men.
Let's talk
Go
about
ahead.
the men.
Go ahead. Talk about the men.
Okay. Oh, before we talk about the men, going back to ice dance, because the one thing I keep forgetting to mention every time we talk about Fournier, Baudry, and Cicerone is the music they have been skating to in their free dance this season. They have been skating to the soundtrack of the movie The Whale.
The
Which
one with
is-
Brendan Fraser?
The one about obesity. And they are skating to it in these watery blue costumes like they think it's about an actual whale. And I can't with this program for that reason.
God.
It feels so tone deaf, so insensitive, especially in a sport that has so many issues.
Eating
around
disorders?
body image.
Oh boy.
Oh my God.
I hate it so much.
Ice dance just keeps on giving.
Anyways, those are your Olympic champions, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to the men, where we can be happy for our Olympic champion. Oh my gosh, Mikhail Shidorov.
This was not the minion guy.
No, the minion guy didn't make it to the free skate. He did
To
not.
be fair, he was not expected to make it to the free skate. Part of the reason everyone was so excited for the Minions program is because we all knew it was going to be the only time we saw him on Olympic ice, unless other people really screwed up in the short. Because he is a great performer. He is a skater I didn't really pay any attention to until I think it was Worlds last year when I went to Boston for the short programs, and it was the first time I'd seen like any of these skaters skate live. And Tomas Laurent Guarino Sabate comes out, and I know who he is because I've watched him in performances, but live it was just like, oh, I get it. This guy is fun. This guy is a performer, and now I'm a fan. But yeah, he was not expected to make the free skate. He was just there for the short program, and he was doing minions for it, and I love that for him. But Mikhail Shaidarov from Kazakhstan, your men's champion. I love a good underdog story, so this made me emotional. Like I teared up watching that medal ceremony, and I know the big story of the men's free skate was Ilya Malinin flopping. I know that's the big story, and that's what everyone wants to talk about.
Was that who was the one who did the backflip? That's
Ilya
both,
Malinin.
Both
also...
Ilya and Adam Xiao-Hemfa do the backflip. Adam Xiao-Hemfa is the one who got it unbanned 2 years ago. He was just doing it in competition and taking the 3-point deduction for it every time he did it, and like still making podiums and getting medals and getting a lot of support for it. So that was his campaign to pressure the ISU to unban the backflip.
But they both do it on like two, like, because like who was it? Was it Surya? Like
Ilya also sometimes does it on one foot. It looks kind of ugly when he does, though.
But the who was that?
Surya Bonali?
Yes, like she did it with like always landed on one foot.
Always goes viral every time the backflip comes up. It wasn't banned because of her. The reason the backflip, from my understanding, the reason the backflip is controversial to be allowed in competitions is not necessarily because I think it's very dangerous to teach it more than it is to do it once you know how, because like show skaters do it all the time. It's not uncommon for show skaters. You get it like, on cruise ships and stuff. It's that not all coaches teaching elite athletes know how to teach it well. And you can really
screw someone over that way.
Yeah. So and to be clear, the backflip isn't a judged element in any of these programs. It's not something they were getting points for in anything other than program components, or like, it would be program components because it's not an element. But some of these skaters like to do it. Nathan Chen always did it in his exhibition programs. There have always been skaters who do it in their exhibition programs.
Yeah. See, that I knew, but specifically, I meant that it has not been done in competition that much.
Right, and the reason the person we have to thank for getting it unbanned is Adam Xiao-Hemfa, even though Ilya's getting all of the attention for it right now. So we have this concept in figure skating fandom of menning. And menning refers to when you have unpredictable results in the men's event because skaters either fall unpredictably in one or both programs have bad skates, and you tend to get a lot of movement between the standings after the short program and the standings after the free. So one of the key factors for determining the level of menning in an event is when you look at the standings, and it's like, what were the rankings after the short, and what were the rankings of the free skate, and then what are the rankings overall? And if all three of those look very different lists, that is one of the indicators of menning. One of the other indicators of menning is just what we saw on Friday, which is unfortunately a final group of skaters that got very nervy about the Olympics and all flopped except for Misha.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is menning a thing in like both the men and women? Why is it called menning?
Yes. Yes. So in terms of grammatical usage, the women are menning today is also correct usage of this fan term. It is called menning because the men do it most often.
Oh, okay.
Because the men are notorious for this.
Yeah, that tracks. I don't know anything about ice skating really, but it tracks.
This happens at so many figure skating events. And the thing is, you can have a chaotic flop event anytime in the season, right? And it happens. It happens. You really hope it doesn't happen at the Olympics. Like, everyone wants the Olympics to be a good competition. Everyone wants all of the best skaters to skate well at the Olympics. But at the end of the day, the Olympics is just another competition. And sometimes you get a flop event at the Olympics. I'm sorry. Not to discount what Mikhail Shidorov did in any way. He is a very deserving Olympic gold medalist. He got out there and he delivered. He has struggled this season. So let's talk about Mikhail Shidorov's trajectory here. He was, I think, silver at Worlds last year. Last year was kind of his breakout season. It was the first time he last season, early in the season, I think it was one of the Grand Prix, was the first time he landed that triple axel Euler quad sow combination that is now kind of his trademark technical achievement. It is bonkers that he's doing a combo with the quad second. It is bonkers. No one else is doing that in competition. Not even Ilya is doing that in competition, right? So he had this kind of breakout season last year, medaled at Worlds, and then he's really seemed to be struggling this season. He had a different short program. He changed it. He went back to the Dune program from last year that had been working so well for him. I guess that was a good move. This free skate has not gelled. Like, it's clearly been so important to him to skate to a Kazakh singer, and so you have to be rooting for that, but it's like he didn't get good enough choreography, and he's just been struggling to make this program connect. And so it's still not the best choreographed program, right? It's still not the most artistic skating out there, but it is such a good underdog story for him to have finally put it together and put down this program clean at the Olympics with a great performance. And even if he hadn't medaled with that performance, which was a distinct possibility given who was skating after him, that would have been a great success story for him. And then everyone else was a disaster. Oh my God. And some of these guys I'm rooting for because I like their programs. I'm rooting for Shun Sato. Shun skated in the the not even in the last group. Shun skated before Misha, right?
No, he skated Shun Sato.
Yeah, when did he skate? Okay, context. This men's free skate happened while I was under anesthesia getting surgery, and I had to avoid all spoilers and get home and watch it while still mildly loopy. So I watched this as like the first thing I did after getting home from surgery. So my
Dedication.
not
hold on. I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling up the results for the free skate.
The results won't tell you the skating order.
No, they will. On the Olympic website, they do.
Oh.
So that was Friday. Sorry, I'm all sports. I don't want in progress.
Anyways, but in terms of the men, I was rooting for because I really like their programs. I like Shun Sato's Firebird. Yuma Kageyama's Turando is so beautiful.
So Shun Sato was 9th after the free skate, after the short skate. So he did skate before.
You mean 9th after the short program?
He was 9th after the short program.
Yeah, so he was in the second to last group. So he had already skated.
Yeah, and Gogolev had the second highest free skate program.
Okay, what were the free skate rankings? Can you just list them in order?
So Shadorov was first. Gogolev was second. Who was third? I think third. Third was Shun Sato. Fourth was, I think it was that Russian skater. Yeah, fourth was
Soren.
Oh
my.
Fourth was Gumenik. Fifth was
Soren must be ancient, right?
Fifth was
he's a sweet baby kitten.
Yes, but he's
12.
You had Soren already when we started the Stitch and Bitch.
Yeah, he's 12.
Okay, so what we are hearing here in the list of names of Order of the Free Skate and how it differed from, anyways, this is menning, everyone. The men be menning.
So
like Gogolev was only like a point, like 2 points off from being on the podium, just because of how good his free skate was compared to everyone else.
So part of what this was is I think after the short, because the short program was very well skated overall from a lot of these guys. So a lot of these guys were actually very, very close to each other. Like beneath the top two, like there was a lot of guys who skated more or less clean in the short and ended up with scores within a very narrow points range. And so when you have a lot of skaters' scores in a very narrow points range in the short, you can have a lot of movement in standings in the free, even without like unpredictable skating. And boy, did we get unpredictable skating here. Funnily enough, I had a prediction that I don't know if I shared with anyone because I didn't trust any of my predictions, but my prediction for the men's podium at this Olympics was Ilya Malinin, Yuma Kageyama, Shun Sato. And I got 2 out of those 3 placements correct. So I am congratulating myself.
Yeah, it was like, it was really, because I wasn't really rooting for Ilya because I found his whole quad god persona just.
I was rooting for Yuma because his skating is so beautiful and his programs this season are so good. I know everyone is talking about the Turando, but I particularly love that jazzy short program. It is so stylish and so fun. it's like the most personality and attitude he's ever had in a program. It's so good.
But yeah, it was just because I was watching it live, and like there had been some falls earlier, but it felt like those falls were kind of more in line of just general, you're on the Olympic ice, there your nerves are going to get you. But then when we started getting to that final two groups, there were so many falls, and it was just like the vibes were bad. The vibes in that rink were bad.
It is a thing that can happen in skating events because, you know, they can try to avoid hearing the scores of other skaters, but there's a vibe in the arena if it's going badly, and they all know. So I'm sure that was part of what psyched Ilya out so much by the time it got to him, is like, you hear the scores for the person who's skated in front, right ahead of you, because you're already on the ice. I say you as if any of us skate. None of us skate.
I know how to skate, and that's the extent.
All right. But the next skater is already on the ice when the last one gets their scores. So they hear. So like he would have heard Yuma's score and felt all of that disappointment in the arena, and known that everyone else in that group was flopping except for Shidorov. And, you know, that was his moment. If he had done what he can normally do at a competition, to walk away with an Olympic gold medal, like he could have afforded a number of mistakes, but you can tell it just got to him somehow. And all of that pressure, I blame NBC. They did this to Nathan Chen at his first Olympics, where they built him up as like the inevitable winner, and then he flopped because of all of the pressure. And they've learned nothing.
Okay, so I don't want to like victim blame, but I also think Ilya does have part, because like he nicknamed himself the Quad God. Like
he did. He called himself that when he was like a teenager.
We all had bad internet handles at 15.
Yeah. Yes.
And his stuck because he has like a PR person now who decided to put it on merch.
Oh no. Oh
Yikes.
no.
I will say the thing that stood out to me was not the failure. I was looking at a quote from an interview he gave afterwards, and he was like, yeah, just all of the trauma came back to me. And he used that word, and I was like, ooh.
All of the trauma of what?
Yeah, I'll look it up, because it was a weird, the phrasing of it stood out to me.
To be fair, I fully believe that there is a lot of trauma that can happen in like these kinds of coaching situations.
I will point out this has happened to him once before. 4 years ago, it was very controversial that USFS didn't send him to the Beijing Olympics. That had been his first senior US nationals. He was skating junior most of that season. He did not have the body of work on the senior level, which was the requirements for the US Olympic figure skating selection. It's not just nationals, it's body of work. And so they sent Jason Brown instead. And he was I forget how old he was.
He would have been 17 if he's 21 right now.
Yeah, he was 17, and he was clearly like viciously upset that he hadn't been sent to that Olympics.
Yeah, the quote that he says is, right before he got to his starting post, he just ... all the negative thoughts just rushed into my head, and all the negative, just traumatic experiences, you know?
So he went to Worlds that year, the post-Olympics Worlds, as a favorite to win his first Worlds.
And that was his first ever major international championship event. And he did exactly this. He, I think, was leading after the short program. And he absolutely bombed the free skate. And it was like me remembering that, having followed him since then, it felt like, oh, this is 2022 Worlds all over again. The pressure got to him again. So, like, and also 4 years ago at the Olympics, we had Kamila Valieva, which was a very different situation, but we also saw a skater hyped up as invincible absolutely crash and burn in the worst possible way on international television. And it was worse for her because she was such a child, and we knew the doping situation that could not possibly have been her fault. And it was just absolutely horrible to watch that sort of child abuse happening at the Olympic level.
Yeah.
Well, and then wasn't Alyssa Liu considered a like?
Oh yeah, she retired in 2022 because she didn't want to put up with it anymore. And she is back now and is not letting anyone tell her what to do, and she's enjoying life, and she should keep skating as long as it makes her happy, and if it doesn't, she should stop. But yeah, Alyssa Liu was the skater that like the US was hyping up as America's response to the teenage Russian girls doing the quad jumps, because before she grew, when she was like 13, 14, 15, she could do quad jumps and triple axels. And then, as happens when your hips grow, she lost them. Anyways, the raising of the age limit in the women's event, I'm convinced, is a good thing. You know, the lower age limit is now 17, so hopefully, you know, we won't be seeing probably quad jumps in the women's event, depending on what Eteri is going to make Adelia Petrosian do. I'm very nervous about that. But
I'm just gonna point out that we are coming up on time soon. So last thoughts on Olympics?
I did not think we were going to take this long. I'm so sorry. But yeah, we are getting to the end of my thoughts on the Olympics. Did we want my thoughts on anything else particularly on the Olympics? I am happy for Mikhail Shidorov. I hope he knows he deserves this win, because honestly, he gave an Olympic gold medal worthy performance. He did. And no one else stepped up to the moment, and he took it, and it's his. Congrats.
I think that's a good way to end it, like on a positive high note.
Mhm.
And uplifting comments. Does anyone have anything that they're particularly looking forward to? Any book releases, any media releases that are coming up?
Ooh.
I haven't been paying attention to anything. Sorry.
Oh my god, hold on. I want to show you guys my pretties that came in. So I had to drive for work late last year, which means I got mileage. And I was a very responsible adult and used my mileage money to buy the Broken Finding Murderbot books.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Those are pretty.
Like those are the novels, right?
It's everything except for the one that's being released in May. But like, I don't think you can see it, but this is sparkly. It's sparkly foil.
Oh.
Like, is it holographic foil? Oh, nice. Oh, damn. I mean, Broken Binding always does the, like, their editions are top notch.
I am really hoping they do editions for Anne Leckie's Imperial Rock books. Like,
Oh, that would be so nice.
I would get in a knife fight for nice editions of those,
I
especially because I hate the new covers so much. But yeah, these are my new pretties. They're so pretty. But yeah, most in terms of like what I'm looking forward to, most of it isn't. Oh, there is a book coming out in March that I'm looking forward to. It's by C.M. Wagner, who wrote a couple of books that I enjoyed, but this one is like, well, I'm pulling up Goodreads. It's like the semi-wicked witch, and it's basically about this witch who finds. Hold on, no, go back. This witch who finds this infant on her doorstep, and she raises the infant, and it turns out he's a prince with a destiny, and so he goes off, but then he starts messing it up, so she has to, like, so it's called The Somewhat Wicked Witch of Brigandale. And a practical witch must sabotage her beloved son's ascension to the throne in order to keep the kingdom from ruin.
Oh no.
And so, once upon a time, a somewhat wicked witch named Gretzella lived in a cozy little cottage in the dark forest of Brigandale. One afternoon, she came home to find a screaming infant on her doorstep. Against all her better judgment, she took the baby in. She named him Bradley. 18 years later, Bradley has grown into a bafflingly likable young man. Under Gretzella's extremely tolerant, one might say doting eye. With the witch's hopes for an unremarkable yet fulfilling life for her son are shattered when small woodland animals start prophesizing that he is the lost prince and should descend to the throne. Bradley ignores Gretzella's advice that prophecies and talking chipmunks are to be avoided at all costs and sets off to the capital. But soon confusion and chaos are reigning, and scheming courtiers are using Bradley for their own ends. Sometimes the witch has to roll up her sleeves and take matters into her own cauldron. So Gretzella sets off to bring about the downfall of her darling son. So that's the one March, like upcoming March book that I'm really looking forward to, because I like C.M. Wagner's
delightful
writing, and the premise sounds delightful, like Kelsey said.
So one thing that I'm looking forward to is a video game coming out apparently on March 12th, which is 1348 Ex Voto, which is the lesbian knight game that like basically you are essentially playing as a female knight who is going to rescue her significant other, who is voiced by Jennifer English, because of course they are, because I'm happy that Jennifer English is getting all the bank and all the roles, because she deserves it. She's very good. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Considering that I have not finished a lot of the other games that I have been looking forward to, and I'm just like, at some point I will finish Hades too. Don't judge me.
Yeah, I'm hoping in March to finish Sad French Game. I am still in Act 1.
Yeah,
I have, I think, the full party. I just picked up the Glaive Lady.
If you just picked up the Glaive Lady, you do not yet have the whole party.
Okay. I have the full expedition party, because I think everyone else is dead.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna say anything. I should restart the Sad French Game and play it again, because I know that I missed a lot of stuff in the beginning.
I did my first mime, and I got the extremely French baguette outfit.
I remember when I tried beating my first mime, and the mime completely wrecked me. Then I spent a lot of time avoiding all of the mimes because of the mime trauma that I had of the first fight, where I got completely ass wiped off the face of the earth.
I can't remember if it took me 1 or 2 battles, but I did get it like once I had leveled up a bit and I had a bunch of people. So
but the mimes are the worst. Well, actually, no, they're not the worst. They're just annoying. But there are worse things in the game than the mimes.
I did
That
beat
will
some-
make the mimes look really easy once you get to those things.
Yes.
Well, I'm looking forward to Wuthering Heights and also to everybody nominating us for the Hugos in Fancast.
Yay!
I need to get reading some more 2025 releases because I've not read that many things that I think I really want to nominate. So that is one of my goals for my staying at home recovering from surgery is to read more Hugo eligible things.
Yeah, Sam. The one thing I know for sure, for sure I'm nominating is Notes from a Regicide by Isaac Fellman, just because
I thought that on your recommendation, so I can read that theoretically.
I just I still think about it, even though I read it last year. I think about the story it was telling and how it was exploring grief and family and art, and it's so good.
My nominating this year will be very poor. It's basically all of the adjacent categories and none of the main categories because I have not been reading a lot. I have not been reading a lot of 2025 releases. So I'm probably just gonna vote on the adjacent categories like best related work, video games, like the interactive game category, obviously. Did I say related work? Fancast, artist categories, graphic novel categories. Those are the ones that I'm gonna be nominating in. Because
I'm really excited to see what ends up on the shortlist for interactive work because I think this was a really good year for indie games in particular, and so I'm really excited to see what
Sad French Game is going to be on.
I also think Hades 2 and Blueprints,
yeah,
and probably also Silk Song.
Silk Song is probably gonna be there, like the main ones. I'm wondering if any of the tabletop RPG rule sets are gonna be in the running.
Daggerheart is the one that I could potentially see getting nominated because it is from the Critical Role people.
Yeah. All right. With that said, it's time to end the stream. So next month we will be on, and this is where I always...
We're on Kelsey's.
We're on Kelsey's channel. This is where I always fuck up our rotation.
I know that Kelsey is right before me and Rachel is right after me, and I am on every 4 months because we always do it in my birthday month. I clearly can only get 2 out of the 4 right because after it's my turn, it's everything evaporates. Okay, so we're on Kelsey's channel. We will let you know when the next stream is when we know when the next stream is. And surprise.
Yes, and have a very nice end of your weekend. So bye-bye.
Bye everyone.